one decision that changed your life?
When I was 13, when somebody misbehaved with me, kind of proved me, go back, slap him hard and say, no, you will not do this to me. I was very clear about the fact that if you're always representing a religion, region, an institute, a degree, and even gender, you're in a cage. You dismantle that. Gender अपना काम करेगा, religion अपना काम करेगा, men अपना करेंगे, तुम्हारा talent बोलेगा, तुम्हारी हिम्मत बोलेगी, तुम्हारा idea बोलेगा.
I just love this concept of just get out of this cage. These are cages that we create for ourselves.
You don't have to be positive. Life is miserable. And it's okay. Life is miserable. Terrible things happen.
Yeah.
Terrible days happen. Cruel things happen. It's okay to cry over it and accept that. Yes, life is miserable.
A recent youth interaction that gave you hope.
I was in a very conservative area. A young boy and a little girl came running to me. He says, Ammi is waiting for you. Who was the Ammi? A 38-year-old girl. I can't tell you. She said, just keep coming to us. We want a school. We want a bus. We don't have that. Don't listen to my father. I cannot tell you how important that was. It just meant so much. That was hope.
Before we begin today's episode, we at Shivadiyant would wish to take a moment to strongly condemn the terror attack at Pahalgam that took the life of innocent civilians from across the country. We stand in solidarity with their families and loved ones. Let's observe a 10-second silence in their memory. Welcome back to Shivadiyant, a place where campus confusion, corporate chaos, and the unspoken truth finally meet the mic. And today we are joined by someone truly special. She's been a firebrand voice in Indian politics, a fearless journalist and a change maker that has walked both the street of activism and the corridors of power. Today on Shivadiyant, it's an absolute honor to welcome Shrimati Shazia Ilmiji. Welcome, Shazia ji.
Thank you so much, Kunal, for having me over. You're right. It's a very sad day, sad time for us to have this conversation and others, because our country is reeling under this shock, this tragedy that we have seen. So indeed, it's a grave time to be in, but I'm very honored to be here with you.
Thank you so much, Shazia ji. The honor is truly mine. Today we have a curious young audience, MBAs, young professionals who are looking for clarity in a lot of noise. So let's dive straight into the questions. And I want to start with how it all started for you. And when I was reading before as a lead up to this podcast,
yes,
you've shifted spaces from journalism to activism to national politics. Now, what's that one value, quote, or a practice that helps you stay grounded through every transition, especially when the public gaze gets too intense?
So yeah, it's a very important question that you asked about my journey, and people often stick to one path, and that is the chosen path. But I think what I want to say remains true to who I am. I'm true to my conviction, but the ways I say it have differed. So what I want to say, Kunal, remains the same. The essence of it. How I say it is in different ways. Sometimes it is through television journalism, reporting. It could be in a little reel I make. It could be in activism, Anna Hazare movement, Nirbhaya movement. And sometimes it is being a parallelist, being a part of a party, being a founder member of Aam Aadmi Party, or being a national spokesperson of BJP. I want to communicate, engage, and do something that really affects me. And because it has impacted me so much as a child, because we remain those little children, crying out for attention or help or overcoming some grief, immediate, imminent, that we want to make sure that others don't go through what we have been through. And also to heal ourselves in that process, because some wounds are very deep and all of us have them. Yeah. So if anybody, Kunal, is saying they don't have them, they are not telling the truth. So it's just that some of us are more honest and we talk about it and we can happily say, yes, this has perhaps hurt me, messed me up, and I want to do something about it. not just for the 13-year-old, 10-year-old, 7-year-old Shazia, but to many other Shazias out there,
Wow.
So I'm very clear about that. So what I want to say, I'm very clear about the essence of who I am, the sum of my aspirations and my prayers remains the same. The way I say it can change. So what remains the same? How keeps changing? How can be television journalism, reporting, production, activism, Anna movement, Nirbhaya movement, India against corruption.
Yeah.
It can also be a movement for reform in my religion,
Yeah.
for transparency,
Yeah.
zero tolerance to corruption, more accountability. So, and it can be in different ways.
Yeah.
It can be activism, it can be hardcore politics, it can just be track 1.5 diplomacy,
Yeah.
it can just be a conversation, it can just be addressing college students anyway. It can be at home, it can be with your mamus and khalas,
Yeah.
it can be Kunal with you and your chachas and mamas. That is it. So what you want to say remains the same. How you choose to say can take many forms. So it's just they are vehicles. Social media is just a vehicle. Television is just a vehicle. Earlier radio was, video kill the radio star, that song. So it's like that. So things remain, and they say, the more things change, the more they remain the same.
Exactly.
So in terms of technology, in terms of different vehicles available to us and platforms and avenues, there is so much out there.
Yeah.
But our problems, our conflicts have remained the same. So if you think about it.
Yes.
So this is pretty much my journey. And what keeps me grounded is pain, the shame, the guilt, the sadness of where I was, how I felt as a child. And I'm sure it's like that with everybody. And you always try to overcome that. So it's always trying to heal yourself and heal others. So it's something as simple as that, but it takes on different forms. And there are people who just bury that and they choose different things. That is also a perfect way to live your life. But in true authenticity, I think, in an act of liberation almost, you accept and own all that you've been through, the good, the bad, the ugly. And that makes you you. So I'm very committed to that. And I wear my pain on my sleeve. I'm not shy and scared to show my wounds. We have so many emotional wounds, all kinds of wounds, civilizational wounds, individual wounds, real serious, grievous hurts and scars that you want to keep covering up. No covering up. There. So I think that is just so liberating and important.
Wow.
It's a moment of reckoning every time.
Wow.
You face your fears.
And I have to say this is one of the best answers that could have been for this one. And I'm so intrigued with the way you have opened about, and I was taking some notes about, you mentioned about our conflicts remains the same.
Yeah.
Some wounds are very deep, and then the pains, the shame, the guilt, right? There's such deep meaning words, and I completely understand when the public gaze is too much on you, and you mentioned about things that you have been doing and the way you were doing, like how open you are in terms of everything that you just said, and I just want to metaphorize that with our audience, for example. So an MBA or an undergrad or a working professional, they go through the same guilt, the shame, and the pain. And why I say that is because if you are an undergrad, you are preparing for MBA. You're not sure if you're going to get there or not. If you're an MBA, you are in guilt of, I did not score how I wanted to. If you're a working professional, you still have a pain that I got lesser appraisal than the other one that I was there. Now, with all things that you've just said, if I just ask you one quick thought that came to my mind is, to all these audiences who are having the same problems in different versions of their life, what is one thought of yours that will help them to feel like it's okay wherever you are?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Kunal, what you're saying is so important. I think not just to MBA students, but all of humanity.
Yeah.
There are all of us, and there is a lot of pressure. This is just what our world has become like. It's a crazy race, and we are getting tired.
Yes.
We are hurting. While we are trying to outcompete, outrace each other, we are getting cardiac arrest. We are having breakdowns, but we want to cover up. We are somehow want to go on there like some sort of Iron Man, marathon man, having to make it, almost forgetting our human frailties and something very basic, that our marks, our gains, our accomplishments, our successes are not us. They are what we need to get somewhere, but they are not. I am bigger than all of this. I'm bigger than my work. My life is much bigger than my work, a few incidents, some failures. You read about Abraham Lincoln. I mean, he just failed and lost so many times until he made it. So this is not the end of the world. This world, that's a beautiful thing about life. I mean, I started off, well, not as a pessimist, as a realist, but I want to tell you, this is so amazing. This one moment you're down and out, but if you're evolving, if you are true to what you're going through, this is pain. It will pass.
Yeah.
This is failure. It will pass. Who will laugh at me? Why should I laugh at myself? If I laugh at myself, if I don't own my own failure or fear, others will.
Yeah.
So I'm bigger than this. Yes, I failed. It's all right. Others have done better. But I'm me and I'm I, and I have so much more to do in life. So this is one failure. It's all right. I'll do better next time. It's just that. I think it's just because we have homogenized, the idea of success. There is truly one way to succeed. There is just one way to be. Now you please see, I mean, there's so many stories. I mean, read about Steve Jobs. I read about what he did. What helped him? He just took these totally, I mean, of course, he dropped out and he found club. Even his curriculum, a huge waste, at the university level. He took calligraphy classes because he just liked them. Extra classes, and that really helped him and helped the whole world. And, where Apple is, Steve Jobs is not there, but Apple remains. And because of that spurt, spontaneity, individuality, that freedom to decide, yes, this is not part of what everybody is doing, but this interests me. And just see that little interest in the calligraphy classes took him there, and the font and the choices all of humanity has. So if you have to start being yourself. If you want to be a clone, it's all right. You can, they can harvest humans, they can clone you, and that's all right. There's some things intrinsic to who you are, which is why. So two identical individuals, I mean, one person is clearly not needed. It's redundancy.
Yes.
So you do justice by being yourself. And it's just not even identical twins.
Yeah.
Would be the same in terms of their emotional makeup, desires, fears, aspirations, inspiration, everything. So this realization that, yes, this is an exam. This is the model of success. But the more individual I am, the more I carry of my past, my inspiration, my today. And the more I bring it, the more relatable I will be to the society, to my company. Wow. But if I'm just winging it all the time, because they're like that, these are the ways they do it, okay, I'll also do that. You are bringing something new. Your bosses and your peers will learn much more from you because you're bringing something truly individual, honest. And many more people will say, oh, thank God you said it.
Yes.
That is leadership.
Yes.
Leadership should liberate others.
Yes. Wow.
Leadership should not be oppressive. If as your boss is covering up for all the things he's not been, for all, and he's compensating for all the times he as a kid was bullied, and he's taking it out on you, feel sorry for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't blame yourself. You see him with empathy.
Yeah.
This was a person who's treating people badly, and he's all of that. Poor thing. He must have had such a sad childhood. Yeah. Obviously, there were some people who were not nice to him. Be forgiving. Don't be taken. Don't hurt yourself. Do not be a victim of another victim.
Wow.
We all are. Because people are terrible. Let me say that. I mean, Anne Frank said it in her diary. and she said something to the effect that despite all that I've been through, I think people are truly nice. I'm not beginning to, I don't feel that way. I felt this way sometime back, but I don't think people are truly nice. I think people are so overcome by their own pain and their own wounds, and because they've been victimized by other victims and they've let that happen to them, that they've become mean and small and horrible.
Yes.
So when you see others doing that to you, forgive them. Don't be angry. You don't want to teach them a lesson. Forgive them. How sad this person must have been. Oh, I so feel bad. I mean, and if I was always forgiving my various bosses because it's like, poor thing. He or she is being so nasty and tough, so unempathetic to the working hours and the expectations. Oh, somebody must have been very rough on them. And once you empathize with that meanness, with that anger, with those expectations, which are fairly, frankly speaking, very inhuman and humanly impossible to achieve, you get okay. There's a peace because you are seeing each other human to human. You see yourself as a human being. You recognize your boss, your senior, your professor, your parents, the world, the so-called, this world of successful people, those men out there who decide the affairs of the corporate world, political world. You see them when you see them as humans, you see the frailties they come with and all that they have to do to compensate, to be who they are. And if you're in that position to empathize, you become the boss. You become the giver. So you're no longer a minion. I say it because I feel very emotional about it. Because all of us have been through very tough times in our work. Because it's important to work, to prove a mark. Men, women today also. Earlier I was not expected to work. But when I went out there, it was tough. But you're always negotiating in life.
Yes.
In your office, at home, on the streets, while driving, while ordering. It's a permanent art of negotiation.
Correct. Absolutely.
You are living that every day, every minute of your life. You're negotiating with yourself.
Yeah.
You are negotiating with your body for extra sleep, less sleep, to eat less, eat more, willpower, exercise. It's an endless negotiation that you're going through in your life, moment after moment after moment.
Yes.
So obviously in the corporate world, in the political world, in the competitive world, it is that.
Yeah.
At home, siblings are doing that.
Yes.
For their parents' attention. In schools, as kids, we're doing that. For either teachers' attention or to be this leader in the group or just to get that ice cream.
Yes.
It's constant. That is human. So if you embrace your humanity and the other's humanity, humanity in you, humanity in I, you and I are human with our frailties, when this happens to you, impossible standards are set. So instead of anger, being hassled and saying, oh, I couldn't make it, I didn't make it. Oh, finally I've made it with such difficulty. How will I keep up? So the pressure is, will I crack this? Will I make it? Oh my God. And then you think of your parents, you think of your peers, those visuals come to your mind.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, मैं कैसे कर पाऊंगी? कैसे कर पाऊंगा यार? कैसे score करूँगा?
Yeah.
And you also think of reasons. अरे उसके साथ तो ये है, मेरे साथ you already make excuses just in case I don't make it.
Yes.
तो देखो मेरा. So be real. You're doing all this. These are games you're playing with yourself. These are negotiations you're doing with yourself. You are already kind of trying to prepare yourself for not scoring well or not cracking the exam because you might not. So there's a lot of pressure you're dealing with. And there's a visual of your school times, your parents, what your dad told you, what your older brother told you, what your girlfriend expects from you, what other girls expect you to be like if they want to think you're hot, and vice versa for girls that, oh, I'm bright, I'm going to make it. And what if I don't? My God, my mother was right, my grandmom was right, maybe I'm just meant for marriage. Chalo chodo, kya hoga? All these thoughts come to all of us.
Yeah.
And anybody who's denying it is not telling you the truth. So the best of us, worst, best, it's all within us. Let's not be judgmental about that. I don't know what's best or worse anymore. But I think if you're real to yourself and you embrace your own humanity and say, yes, I accept it. Yes, I'm scared. Yes, I'm hassled. I'm petrified. Arey, kya hoga exam mein? What will I do? Will I able to? What if I can't reproduce it all? What if I falter? There are so many what ifs, what ifs.
Yes.
ठीक है, होगा तो होगा. Embrace that also.
Yeah.
So I think, so forgiving others is what I talked about, but the most important thing for each one of us, no matter where anybody is in terms of money, in terms of power, in terms of being entitled or not, forgiving yourself. It's such a beautiful, I think every minute if you could take out your conversation with yourself. Conversations with others do not help. Conversation with yourself helps the most. You want to grow, you want to evolve, you want to do big things, you want to be original, have a conversation with yourself. The only conversation that matters, really matters to Kunal, is Kunal's conversation with himself.
Absolutely.
And to anybody out there, you could be the jailer, the prisoner, the prime minister, the official. This is a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about self-love. It's just forgiving yourself, because we are that. And we have made our lives difficult, actually, more than others. We blame others.
Yeah.
We blame our teachers, we blame our faculty, we blame our parents, we blame the world, we blame all the rules that have been made about success. But we also blame ourselves.
Yeah.
So just remove the blame. This is I'm here to live my life without shame or guilt. It's all right. You win some, you lose some. I think just forgive yourself. This little hug, which it could be imaginary,
Yeah.
in your quiet time, you give yourself. Nobody's giving it, you give yourself. Your girlfriend dumps you, your boyfriend dumps you, they will not do it for you. Your batchmates will laugh at you.
Yeah.
This whole power dynamic. Who got dumped?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So, but it's so sad that somebody who didn't deserve your love,
Yeah.
who mocked you and left you, it's all right. They didn't deserve your love. They didn't deserve you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's okay. Because, what you have to give will only be savored by somebody who truly deserves you. So there's so many ways to look at the same thing. In terms of, and you will not believe this. I wanted to do law so badly, but I was underage.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And I didn't know, because they said no, and law faculty. So I did my English honors, and I'm one of those people, families are supposed, everybody says, so two conversations. One, when something doesn't work out, something much bigger happens.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea. So, but it's happened. So because I was underage, I was not allowed, I could not get into law. Fact, they said no. I'd already done my graduation. I was 19 and a half, and I'd already done my graduation.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was always ahead of my class. And they didn't let me, law faculty. So I didn't know what else to do. And I'm so argumentative. I would have been I'm so much into agar, magar, isn't but. And, my dad was from Deoband. It's called Mantak, logic. So I'm so much into that person. I said, oh my God, I was meant to be a lawyer and I couldn't. And I didn't know. And there was this exam, Mass Comm Jamia. Mm-hmm. And I just gave it. And, the less prepared you are, the more relaxed.
Yeah, you are. Exactly. Yeah.
When you're like, I have to do this. Oh my God. I said, yeah, I'll do it. You do it because you're cool.
Yes.
Kya farak padta hai? If you have that attitude, no?
Yeah.
And I want to tell everybody out there, at the outset or on the onset of exam, something big, be relaxed. If it's yours, it will come to you. And the more relaxed you are, the happier you are. Because you're not there to take an exam. You're not there just to become an MBA, just to qualify for MBA. You're there to make a difference to your company, others' companies. You're there to make it profitable. You're there to make not just a good leader, to create more leaders.
Yeah.
You're there to expand and create value.
Yeah.
You're not there, oh, I'm a qualified MBA. Oh, I'm. But what have I done after that? What am I doing to my life and the lives around me?
Yeah.
This is just one step. दिमाग में वो रखना है.
Yeah.
मुझे ये नहीं कि अरे मुझे बड़े अच्छे पैसे मिल गए. I've got this great job now. And nobody, my aunts and all could not do this, get out of the house and do this. So I've got it. I've got this great job. What am I doing this job for? मुझे करना क्या है? It's just a stepping stone. It's just a first step. You have to do many more things. अभी से घबरा जाओगे या be bent out of shape. What will you do? कोई घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है. सब होना है. You have to do such big things in your life. So don't sweat the small stuff. Exams, marks, scores, faculty. This is small stuff. But the real stuff, not even the real stuff is contributing. Your life must matter. You are here to make a huge difference to to where you live, to your neighborhood, to your house, to your city, to your company, to others' companies. That's what it is. And I think once you make... So I'm not saying don't be ambitious. Be super ambitious. But not just for yourself. For a much bigger platform. Ambitious बनो तो दुनिया के लिए बनो. सिर्फ अपने लिए करना है नहीं. सिर्फ तुम्हारी नहीं जॉब हो जाए इतनी बड़ी. सबकी हो जाए आसपास.
Yes.
तुम्हारे साथ तुम्हारा काम हो कि सबके आसपास their value goes up, the profitability of your company goes up, and not just that, people are empowered by your being empowered.
Yeah.
Once you go there, no, these things don't matter.
And ma'am, I have to say this. I've spoken to many people. I've taken very different thoughts from different people. But what you just mentioned, state with me one line which says, you are there to make a difference. I think everyone says that in passing.
Yeah.
But the way you said it to an MBA or a working professional, when you're getting into a company or in a college, just don't go there just to be a normal student. If you're there to make a difference, that really helps. While you were talking about this, I was just visualizing if I would have taken that thought when I went to my first company or when I went to my first college, I would have been a different person. But there was no one to talk to me about these things. What I was being told was, you have to get certain numbers. You're already restricted with so many things around you, these shackles, and then you are left with only looking with a very narrow mind that this is what I have to do only. You don't look at, I want to make a difference. So I think what you just said, I think most of the audiences of ours should relate to this one.
Yes, and I also want I've spoken at various management institutions. I feel everybody in such a trap.
Yeah.
Including the faculties, the faculty itself, the management, the way they teach, what they expect from students, even later on in life. I wish for their own sakes, they would make life easier for others.
Yeah.
Because it's just not, you are giving this task, these targets, these deliverables. You have somebody there who can do much more than that. And you're limiting them. You're in a cage, you put that person in a cage. You put potential of these, young, bright, capable minds into such a limited cage that, you've limited yourself, you limited your employees, you've limited your managers. So it's quite sad, I think. Unshackle yourself. It goes at all levels.
Yeah.
For your juniors, for your seniors, for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it should be liberating if you start thinking like that.
Oh, I'm telling you.
And you will do so much good for the next generation, next lot to come. If you can start thinking like that. If a working professional who is about to enter a corporate, if he or she starts thinking that I'm just not another employee, I just want to make lives of the people better. It's such a wonderful thought. It's such simple but powerful. People don't think it like that. I see so many people in the corporates, they're only and only thinking about my next appraisal. And if I tell you honestly, ma'am, what I think, people are after increase of only 5% of their total salary, which is not even, it's like when you compare the whole salary, it's peanuts. But the way we have been tuned is like those 5% means everything to us. Yeah. And I tell everyone, if you don't get what then? And then they start becoming, this company is not good. And they start thinking just because they did not got that 5% or 8% or 10%, now I'm not good here, I have to switch, And that's why I say, just think bigger. You're just not there for 5%. Make someone's life better. This is such a liberating thought.
Yeah, and start with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start with your wife.
Yeah.
Your kids.
Yes.
Your parents. Think about people are dealing with.
Yeah.
Because an unhappy person,
Yeah.
and you know what, you've allowed the lack of that 5% or the possibility of that 5% increase not happening or happening. Change the way you think about yourself. You think about the company. You think about the world. You think about your whole life. I mean, it's very sad. I'm sorry, but you have to be more ambitious.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I mean, this is let's not make ourselves sillier. Humans are silly, but this is, and I have this, it's wordplay, but I used to, so, कैकई बैठ गई थी कोप भवन में, ना, जब भगवान राम को वनवास के लिए भेजना था और ये सब था, तो आई थिंक ऑफ दिस कोप भवन वेरी डिफरेंटली. कोप भवन, so English का कोप भवन. So it's my thing, that my recommendation, and one day I want, but I'm sharing it with you for the first time. Cope Bhavan. So I think every office, every school, every institution should have a Cope Bhavan. That is a safe space. What is a safe space? What do you think for women is a safe space?
Yeah.
No, wherever you are, that's लोगों के घरों में एक वो होती है, एक पूजा का जगह होती है, एक प्रेयर रूम होता है.
Yeah.
वैसे ही कई meditation rooms होते हैं, so the meditation retreats.
Yeah.
So to run away from this, you go for meditation. But have a little cope bhavan.
Yeah.
It could be inside you, it could be outside, where you cope. You cope in Hindi also, like cope bhavan. Gussa bhi hai, and you cope, which is your safe space. I wish there could be just somebody who's like your friend, your guru. You could be your own guru and say, it's all right. It's not happening today. It's tough. Got such a jar, man. Almost in the line of firing. I haven't cracked it, but it's all right.
Yeah. It's so easy to say, but it's so difficult to implement what you're just saying. And I'm just going to take a segue to my next question, which I have, which is, many in our audience, they fear judgment when they are changing careers, which are not conventional. Now, I have to ask you this. When you moved from media to activism to politics, what gave you the courage to make that move? And second, what would you say to a young professional who is stuck in a box that others created for them?
What is judgment? We talk about the day of judgment. क़यामत का दिन होता है कुछ religions में. आखिरत कहा जाता है. Doomsday. And who judges? And who is judged? So criminals are judged.
Okay, wow. You've changed the whole perspective.
Why should we be judgmenting towards ourselves? Are we criminals?
Yes.
Why should anybody judge us?
Yeah.
I might stammer. I might be nervous. I might have some disability. I might just be a shy person. But why am I criminalizing myself? Why am I sitting in judgment over myself? It's all right. So it's we must learn to say it. And little children, girls, boys should be taught to articulate, I'm nervous. I'm scared.
Yes.
I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I feel like crying. It's important. No, we must be brave and, we have to be this join of all virtues, all confidence. No. Do you know what all people do to appear confident and that takes such a beating out of them?
Yeah.
Because you have to appear like a leader. We see these movies, we see everything on, we see all the stuff, Wall Street and, this, that and the other, and you want to be a certain way. That is the idea of success. Just how miserable are those lives? And we don't have to feel bad for them, but we can empathize. And we want to start empathizing with others, let's start with ourselves. Why am I judging myself? Why am I allowing this person to judge me? My older brother, some senior, even our parents. Parents can be very oppressive. Parents have also, family can be a very empowering unit to nourish and nurture you, but family can also be very oppressive.
Yes.
So it is not gospel truth. This is conditioning. And conditioning is just another way to put yourself in a jail.
Yes.
We are not criminals. I am not a criminal. You are not a criminal. We don't need people to judge us.
Yeah.
Judgments and judges are there to judge with a jury criminals who need their own lawyers. I do not need a lawyer. I am not a criminal. I don't want to see myself in my entire life as a criminal. I'm a seeker. I'm a creator. I'm a liberator. I liberate others of the cages. I liberate myself also. I keep getting stuck in a cage. My behavior, my marks, my personality, my speaking ability, my leadership abilities. It is a cage. Liberate yourself. Because you'll be so peaceful, you'll be able to do it. But we are stuck there, you see. So it's just such a tough, constricted way to live. Imagine a company where everybody is stressed. Where the top guy is breathing down your neck, he is, fighting an imminent cardiac arrest all the time. He's passing it on to others. Others are taking it. They're living that life, totally constricted, appearing to be confident, petrified within. What will happen? Looking around for other jobs, other options. Going back homes to their little kids, older kids, younger kids, wives, parents, whoever they live with, partners. Can you imagine what a stressful world it is?
Yeah.
Because we've just chosen to live in cages. So because I could not do my law because of whatever, I went to Masscom Jamia. Everybody was taking the exam. I was so sure. I was so cool. So I was just having fun. The minute you have fun, it's easy. Do the same thing. And it's my challenge. Do this. Let's say you have to write a sentence, It can be anything. You write a para on whatever, what you want to do, your key deliverables, or how to meet your target, something, instruction, a note of instruction. Do this. Make a silly face and then write it. Or do, this. See the difference?
Yes.
A deep breath.
Yeah.
I say, life is fun.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever will go wrong, will go wrong. And then do it. Or say, I must do this. I must crack.
Yes.
I was telling you this, Kunal, I want to share this with you. It's very important that we talk about this. I was in a very stressful it's very stressful now, always. Podcasts are easier because you can still edit.
Yeah.
Live telecasts, you're anchoring, big things are happening, like terror attacks, and you can't see a thing wrong. You want to use a cuss word, you can't.
Yeah.
If you really want to. Somebody's being nasty to you. You have to be a picture of poise. You could be unwell, you could be sick, you could be angry, you could be prejudiced, but you can't. You have to do justice to your profession there.
Yeah.
Everything out, that objectivity. You have to stop being you. You in your little cage has to be done away with, because right now there's a bigger purpose. The bigger purpose is you're informing the world at this point of time as truthfully and objectively, because this matters to them. So forget about yourself. ये हर वक्त भी कहना कि oh, I'm nervous and scared. No, that is self-indulgence. Get out of it. हो गया. मैं nervous हूँ, हो गया. Move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I'm here for something.
Correct.
This is that's what I said. Be ambitious, not just for yourself, but for a bigger purpose. So I'm telling you this. So I was always a producer. I'm a technical person. Jamia Masscom teaches you that. A lot of my filmmakers are famous directors, and and so I was never a anchor. I was like more of a reporter, and I would get stories. I liked asking questions. Of course, ask my parents, they were like petrified of my questions, like, Tere masoom sawalon se pareshan hu main. That song in Masoom, like, it was made for me. That people were scared of my questions. At one point of time, I was the most annoying kid you could find. But then, I made it my job. Great.
Yeah, you did.
The most annoying thing that people hate you for, make that your job. That's so much fun you have, mocking the world and everybody. So I did that, and, so I would ask questions, and you won't believe it. When I was an anchor, when I was asking questions, I would see some anchors.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be a correspondent and a producer, executive producer. I said, मैं क्या anchor बनूंगी. I was very disdainful because women are supposed to look pretty. Why? Why can't I look bad? And I'm not just my looks. I'm just not my complexion. I'm me. I was very proud. अरे मेरे दिमाग को देखो. मैं भी judgmental थी. ये जो बाकी लोग होते हैं, who are these bimbos? I was judgmental. Poor things. They're obviously lacking in the upper story, so that's why they are like this. ठीक है यार, पर मैं तो बड़ी bright हूँ. मेरे दिमाग में ही चलता था. I'm being honest. And I said, no, I will not just be a pretty girl. I don't want to be just a pretty girl. I'm there for my brains. I will outwit you. I'm sorry. So I was very clear on that. I was being judgmental.
Yeah.
There was no need, but I was, and I'm being honest about that. But I tell you what, so when you're doing the duty, when you're out there, it's not about you, it's about something else. But when I saw other anchors, and I just realized, oh my God, bad pronunciation, Hindi or English, sense of inquiry missing. So I said, no, I will do a good job here.
Mm.
It's not that I want to promote myself and become an anchor, because everybody wants you to be anchor.
Yeah.
You're a young lady. They don't care about what you've studied, You look kind of okay, you speak well, you go there. And for some strange reason, all girls have been taught, initially they've been taught to be on. People want to see more girls, women on screen. So I said, hey, I can do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of these men and women, it was so spontaneous.
Yeah.
Of course, at least I will ask the right questions. So it's like, let the best man, let the best woman win. So, it's like the meeting of expectations both. Then I was there. And then I realized as an anchor, it's a very important job. It's very stressful also, at all points of time. And in television, even as a national spokesperson, it's very, very tough. It's not easy.
Yeah.
You have to be ready with your answers. You have to make sense. You don't have to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be biased towards any community when you speak.
Yes.
Or full of prejudice. You're there. A party sent you for a reason, and it's to make the world and your country think of the party the way it wishes to be thought of.
Yeah.
So you have a responsibility. Again, it's not about you.
Yeah.
You do that to the best of your ability. So when I remember, when I was an anchor, there would be, so you become an established anchor, but you figure out the dynamics, and it's easy. So I was an established anchor, and I was a debut anchor of Star Network when it started in 2003.
Wow.
I was early in my job in that sense, but it was great fun, to be a debut anchor and all of that. And then what I realized was there would be a lot of people making their debuts as correspondents. There would be print journalists maybe, and they're just coming into television. TV became the big thing, 10, 15 years back. Like huge it became. But they would still be facing TV the first time. Or there would be the sweet girl who would be doing weather for the first time. So, another anchors were like full of themselves, and they would say, this little girl, very, very sweet. I mean, young girl, not hardly little, but it was nervous. So my colleagues, my friend, fellow anchor, be like the producers telling her, aise bolna, waise bolna, speak like this, don't be nervous, be confident. Now, everybody out there.
That will make the life.
I mean, you know what I said? I said, please be nervous.
Yes.
Please don't be confident at all, because you'll be faking it. Don't wing it. Be nervous. Please stammer.
Yeah.
Stutter. Make many mistakes, because all of us are like that. You don't see it because you're sitting, but all our legs are trembling at all times. So make sure your legs are trembling. Make sure your breathing is ragged. She would start laughing, She said, really? I said, yeah, because that's what you're feeling, to feel it. Okay? Yeah. Okay. If you're feeling that, go ahead. It was such a liberating moment for me.
Yes.
Because somebody could just say the truth.
Yeah.
So why can't we say it to each other in a company? Yeah. Why can't from a senior to a junior, colleague to colleague, we can say it to each other? क्या डर लग रहा है कैसे कैसे करें घबराहट हो रही है what if I'm sacked? We can say it, we can articulate it.
I'm loving this conversation, because half of my question you've already asked yourself and you're answering that, and it is such a great thing to do, because I have, like, there is one point that that stuck with me was when you said you started the job at the Star TV with the anchor.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be different in a way by knowing that I'll not be another good-looking face on the camera, but I would ask questions which makes
good or glib, whatever.
Yes. And when
let's not presume that, I said the presumption that some men and women have that they're good-looking.
Yeah.
It's a very subjective thing. Some people might find you obnoxious. So if many people have called you good-looking, it might not even be the truth. So let's not presume that you're good-looking. So, but I just didn't want to be, against stereotyping.
Yeah.
Men would do finance, girls would do this. I'm a topper from Jamia. Don't expect me to do lifestyle. I will do defense. क्या कर लोगे?
So when I started the podcast, I had the same thought.
Yeah.
The only reason, because people ask me these questions, like, why are you doing the podcast? Like, you don't want to be. I work as a director in an IT company,
Huh.
and I don't want to do this stuff. But I think why this point stayed with me, because
I mean, you're a honcho. You're a director in an IT firm. You're doing big stuff. What is the need to do a podcast? What is ज़रूरत ही क्या है इसकी?
yeah, exact. And but I think why that resonated, because I also thought that I'm gonna go to a YouTube platform where people are only doing entertainment. You know, they want to be they want to dig up things that makes people curious, but will not give them anything. What you have just spoken in the last half an hour, I'm sure if I make a small video of this and give it to an MBA audience who have not heard this side of yours, you know, it would be enlightening to them, because generally people come in their suits, they will have a power presentation, they will have 10 slides, they will look at those 10 slides and read, and that's it. No one learns from it, but they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to do things in a certain way, but why? Why can't the young professionals, the MBAs, should be taught of meeting you? You know, why shouldn't you be there to talk to them? Yeah, because that's why I wanted you on this podcast, because my thought was, I just don't want people to look at the leaders only with the perspective that they are here for politics. No, you have seen your ups, you have seen your downs. What can these guys learn from you? And that's what I'm so glad that what you're saying should make 100% sense with all these guys.
Yeah, and one more thing I would like to say, Kunal, to your audience, that, you know, at every point of time, since we are little to the time we grow up, we are all politicians in our own ways. There's politics going on
Yeah.
in families,
Yes.
between brothers,
Yes.
between sisters, sisters-in-law, between, a husband and wife, partners, heterosexual, homosexual, there's politics everywhere. It's all about politics. It's the power dynamic. The corporate world is just that. Political world is just that. Activism. So somebody asked me this question. A very famous anchor asked me this question on TV. It was there. Is there. Also Shazia. And we were all contemporaries in our worlds. And hardcore corporate jobs. I've always been in that world. Like big companies, all of that. So I asked me, how do you find... Shazia, how do you find politics after media? So I said there was more politics in media than there is politics in politics. So let's not presume ourselves कि वो तो politician है.
Yeah.
Suddenly upgrading yourself कि no, वो तो politician है, हम ऐसे हैं. कोई भैया सब politician हो.
Yeah.
हर जगह politician हो, हर level पे politics है. So it's just not at Gram Panchayat, Zilla Parishad, and then CM level and PM level and DM level. It's everywhere. Politics is us.
So my next question for you is, and this is very close to my heart, which is about the young women in corporates, in the MBAs. I want you to tell them, how should they speak with conviction when they feel outnumbered or dismissed in some of their existing spaces? And this can be an MBA, this can be a corporate, this can be an experienced leader as well at the top of the helm. What should they do?
Very important question, something very true to my heart. As a girl, as a woman, the challenges are far greater, the pressures are far more, the circumstances are far more hostile, within and without. The collective consciousness of who you are as a woman, it seeps through and makes you far more vulnerable, even psychologically. And then imagine overcoming all that psychological bent of mind and going ahead in the real physical world and seeing yourself being outnumbered and knowing that you can do it, but not quite believing it.
Yeah.
I think it's that. And I think I've always been outnumbered.
Yes.
My wherever I've been, as a girl in a Muslim household, asking a question or raising a voice in a cinema hall where girls just sit and brothers sit on the side so that they can watch a movie. So, just finding your voice is a big deal. This is what happens. So when we are there and they're tough competitive spaces, men are far more entitled. It comes to them easy. They've been doing it. A woman she might have a great idea, and I've seen it, but they're struggling. What if it's not good enough?
Yes.
She'll work so much harder. She'll be so meticulous about it, but she'll be so underconfident.
Yeah.
And when, sorry to say, a half-rotten idea, a guy would wing very easily because there is just more confidence, mostly. And that's what I have experienced, not just in myself, and many women share that with me. Many young girls, women. What is it? There is something there. So I think that is changing. But again, I want to say something maybe deeper and different is that to be always thinking that, oh, I'm a woman and I have to make it. There are very few women here, and this guy is. That also is a cage.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have to play this game. I'm a colleague. I'm a fellow worker. I'm here to do my work. So which is why I was very clear about the fact that if you're always representing a religion, region, an institute, a degree, and even gender, you're in a cage. You dismantle that.
Wow.
You dismantle that. Yes, you're a woman. You're anatomically, you're different. Your anatomy is different. There are issues with it in terms of safety, when you want to go back, in terms of, menstruation, the need to have more safer spaces, to feel more protected, and all of that. These are real things in your life. But you're you. You're your confidence. You're your intelligence. Your prowess.
Yeah.
You're your individuality. It's all of that. You're your talent. Go show that. छोड़ दो ये सब. जेंडर अपना काम करेगा, रिलीजन अपना काम करेगा, men अपना करेंगे. तुम्हारा टैलेंट बोलेगा, तुम्हारी हिम्मत बोलेगी, तुम्हारा आइडिया बोलेगा.
Wow. It's such a powerful statement, ma'am. And I want you to kind of speak to a girl or a woman that is going through this problem right now. What you're just saying is so powerful. I want you to kind of just continue with some more problems and solutions to a girl or a woman facing it right now. Like you mentioned was seeker, positive.
Yeah.
There's a stigma around it, be positive.
Yes, it is. And it's a reality. Not all of us are privileged to grow up in metropolitan homes, and even there, in societies where where boys and girls are equals, it is not true. I mean, some of my friends are very lucky, some people I know, but it's not the case. There are very specific duties and expectations from genders, gender expectations, and that's very clear. So sometimes there's a lot of pressure on men, because men must not be sensitive, they must be providers, they must not cry, they must not be creative. And, they also feel it.
Yeah.
So women should also be aware of that.
Yeah.
My mother had the biggest problem when my brother Irshad wanted to just, prepare the warm milk for the kids in a bottle, or make juice for his wife and for the kids. Why should you do that? Your wife should do that. But this is, I can't be deprived of this. Similarly, women, not every woman's the stereotype. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Yeah. That's a cliche.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Yeah.
It's, so we have to, all that we have to sift across. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of dominant culture out there all the time. Movies, social conditioning. Movies, social conditioning, our homes, our neighborhoods, people we know, people we learn from, people who teach us, everywhere. So it's a lot of work for a young girl to break through all of that. Her own vulnerabilities are there. Her challenges are there. And the might of this dominant culture works against her.
Yeah.
You read a matrimonial column and you see how it is. What is the expectation from a girl or a daughter or a sister or a wife? Or a mother.
Yeah.
So one, you must realize that all these are cages people have put you in.
Yeah.
Liberate yourself.
Yeah.
When you're out there making a pitch, giving this idea, doing this presentation, it's your talent, it's your idea.
Yeah.
It's all that has come with, years of thinking, processing, fighting. That's why it's so great.
Oh, I can see the passion with which you speak.
Yeah, I get emotional, you know,
Yeah, and
and I should be. This is another cliche. Don't get emotional. Why? Be emotional.
yeah,
Be passionate. Cry when you have to. You must.
yeah,
You don't have to hide anything. My tears are my strength.
strengths, not weakness.
Yes. And owning my fear is my biggest strength because that liberates me.
Yeah,
And that makes me stay true to myself. So Brahma Kumari said, and it's so beautiful, at the end of the day, man, woman, religion, color, caste, all of that. But you're a soul, you're a spirit, you're a Chaitanya Atma.
yeah,
This is all external.
yeah,
This happened with me, and I must tell you, after all the serious talk, you know, I was at top of my class. I was a head girl of my school. Then again, the first Muslim head girl. Why? I mean, you know, when I was chosen for the task, despite all the prankster that I was, it was not because I was a Muslim, because I had something to do.
correct.
So people put me in that Muslim business, you know, religion. I said, oh, must be very special because I'm the first Muslim head girl. I mean, it's just great. When you're the head girl of your school, you're like the prime minister of the country,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I said, oh, please, that didn't impress me. Then you get into all the competitive stuff and you start doing well. Again, you're put into this thing. You look a certain way. You come
Yeah.
from somewhere.
Yeah.
Arey, how will you cover BJP? You're a Muslim. A certain boss told me that.
Wow.
And I said, why not? Because I will not be a Muslim here. And you know something? I was a young correspondent with Z. And I had a very senior RSS ideologue who was a writer. Shazia Almi, BJP. And you know, Shazia Almi was this young correspondent, first job ever, who could go to the BJP office because she was not thinking that she was a Muslim, because she was an eager reporter and she had to do justice to her job.
Wow.
So Kushabhav Thakre would only give me interviews. So all the hardcore BJP walas, you know, they could not get that because I ceased to be a Muslim and a woman.
Yeah.
I was a seeker. So these are cages. So I want to tell all the girls out there, this girlhood, womanhood, I understand. It's what you grow up with. Nobody ever lets you forget that you're a girl, you're a woman. Nobody ever will. But you know something? There were times that you will have to forget because you are your idea, you are your pain, you are your talent, you are your grit. Take it there and own it.
Well, and thank you so much for this conversation. I'm just loving this.
I want to say something funny because I got so emotional. You know, I was top of my class, top of everything. I joined Star Network, a fantastic first,
Yeah.
you know, NDTV went off and Star TV has now become ABP News. So I was a debut anchor. So the elections happened. And during elections, I had experts. So I was a good anchor. So they made sure there were experts from outside who would come in and talk about elections and all that. And I was very keen on elections for my... You know, my dad we have the oldest Urdu newspaper. So as a kid, I've been bringing news to my dad and sitting in all the political meetings as a little kid, learning, you know, what life. And girls are not supposed to do that. You know, they expect you to reach Femina and Star and Style and Griya Shobha and whatever. But I'm like in hardcore. What's happening? Who's going to be the minister? What is Operation Blue Star? You know, as a kid, you want to know all that. But I wanted to know that. So I was very upset because they said, oh, so all the senior male experts will be there, and because anyway I'm a good anchor, there was recognition. Shazia will come and she will toss. So tossing is like, Namaskar, मैं हूँ Shazia और आप देख रहे हैं इस वक्त की ताज़ा खबरें. And you read out the headline. इस वक्त की ताज़ा खबरें हैं, मुख्य खबरें हैं. You read out the headlines, and then it's called a toss by the product PCR. Toss to the experts. And so I just do this headline. And I said, this tossing business is too much. I want to be there. Like they say, no, you want a seat at the table. I wanted not just a seat. I wanted to be the table and the chair and the sofa if there could be. I said, why are they on discussing? I want to say something. So they said, let it be Shazia. And they were very senior guys. I don't want to take their names because
That's
the biggest names there could be. No disrespect to them. And you know what I did? So sometimes humor works. All this seriousness, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pain that comes with all the challenges. You know, we've been through that. And when it makes us emotional, you know, seeing what some of the challenges that we've been through, but use humor. I was so angry that I went to the bosses in the newsroom. And there's this, you know, Ajit ke jokes, Robert wala jokes, you know, na? So there's an old joke of Ajit. रॉबर्ट तुम सोना लेके आओ, माइकल तुम स्मगलिंग करो और समथिंग, और लिली तुम नहाती रहो. So I said, hello, I'm not here, I'm not Lily. I want to be Robert or Michael.
Yeah.
Why can't Sanjay be Lily? वो नाच किसका है? They all laughed.
Yeah.
Because coming from a girl so inappropriate, so politically incorrect, मैंने कहा sorry, मैं लिली नहीं हूँ यहाँ पे कि मैं नाचती रहूँगी, टॉस करती रहूँगी. Sorry, I want to be a, either if you can't make me a Jeet, make me a Robert or a Michael. My seniors laughed and they said, please sit there. And I said, can you imagine this? I did this. I was a debut anchor with Star. I'd only been 3 years or 4 years in the business after my Jamia. And I said, they laughed and I just went there. Because मुझे इतना बोलना था, ये यूपी में क्यों हो रहा है, तमिलनाडु में क्यों रहा है, कैसे हो सकता है? You know? So break the stereotypes. क्यों पकड़े? Stereotypes are your, they are the bane of your existence.
Yeah, and the cake.
I, Kunal, you know, who's a director in IT company. How limiting is that?
Yeah.
I, Kunal the seeker. आज ये होऊंगा, कल मैं वो होऊंगा, वो होऊंगा. हर moment में कुछ ना कुछ होऊंगा मैं.
Yeah.
I will be a wonderful husband. I'll be a loving son. I'll be a nasty go-karter. You know, I'll be a nasty golfer. Why can't you be? You can be all these things. I'll be really stupid.
Yeah.
And I want to tell everybody, it's such fun being stupid.
Yeah, it is.
It's the most relaxing thing.
It is. It is actually.
Be silly, be stupid. You don't have to be intelligent. Throw that away. It's a cage. You'll be the smartest. The minute you say, hey, I'm not smart, I don't get it, you will be the smartest person. Learn to say it. Instead of showing off your knowledge, start conceding, I don't know enough. Let's see what's out there for me. Let's see what I can learn from this moment, from my juniors, from my seniors, from this wonderful peon who's serving me. Let's see.
Yeah.
There's so much learning.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So there's so much to learn from, instead of living in a cage, and all these are cages.
Yeah, and I'm short of words. Generally, I'm not, and my wife can vouch for that. But what you just narrated,
your wife is great. That's one stereotype I believe in. She's from St. Beat, Simla. Yeah, we are cool.
she's sitting right there.
Yes, yes.
And I'm sure that all the girls who are listening to this, I'm sure this would have, if they were sleeping, they would have been awakened now. And they should do what you just told them. You know, I just love this concept of just get out of this cage. These are cages that we create for ourselves, and then we surround ourselves with so much negativity.
Life is also miserable. There are times when life is miserable, and people keep talking about being positive, and you don't want to be positive. And everybody, I remember in this very fantastic, like top-end seminar with international personalities, and there are mayors of cities like Rome and all are talking about being positive and smiling. And I went up there and I said, no, I don't feel positive. There are times when I'm full of anger and I don't want to smile.
Yeah.
And I think I don't want. And Charles de Gaulle said that. Somebody said, why don't you smile? He says, do you take me for a fool? I'm not a fool that I'll keep smiling. You know, so leave it to others, please.
Right.
You don't have to be positive. Life is miserable. And it's okay. You know, life is miserable. Terrible things happen.
Yeah.
Terrible days happen, cruel things happen. You know, it's okay to cry over it and accept that his life is miserable. But will my life be miserable tomorrow and day after?
Yeah.
No. So
Correct.
So if you say life is miserable, everything is bad, then you have maybe decided your end.
Yeah.
You are playing God.
Yeah.
But say, hey, I'm miserable today.
Yeah.
I'm really sad today. But maybe tomorrow I might not be. I could be sadder tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, life sucks now. Life could be much worse tomorrow.
Yeah.
But in the game of probability and in the business of possibility that life actually is, there's a possibility I'll be miserable as I'm today. There's a possibility that I'll be more miserable.
Yeah.
There's a possibility I might be happy.
Yes. Yeah.
So when I'm going to give this exam and I'm so nervous and I will not crack it, you say, it's a possibility. If I keep on thinking, I'm so nervous, I'm so scared, how will I do it? How will I speak? How will it go? Then I will mess it up.
Yes.
I'll say it's a possibility. I will lose this. I will falter at this. There's a possibility I might do very well also. Yeah, possibility.
Yes.
Everything, play every moment as a game. You play this game. Possibility. अगर ये सोच के रख दिया अरे सब बुरा ही होगा, सब ऐसे ही होते हैं, सब बॉसेस ही खराब हैं, सब कंपनियां ऐसी करती हैं, अरे मेरे साथ तो ऐसे ही होता है, दिस इज माई लाइफ. दैट इज सैड. इफ विमेन स्टार्ट डूइंग दिस, अरे वी विमेन वी हैव बीन थ्रू सो मच, अरे फॉरगेट इट. रो लो एक बार, 10 बार रो लो, 1000 बार रो लो, 1001 फर्स्ट टाइम नो. No rona dhona.
Yeah.
I am a winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am here.
Yes.
I'm not just seeking joy. I am joy.
Yeah.
I am happiness.
Yes. Yes.
Not only will I take my own sadness away, I will take everybody's sadness away. This is the game I'm here to play. कर लो जो करना है.
Amazing.
हिम्मत है? उदास करके दिखाओ मुझे. Go. Do it. Bully me.
I have to say this. When I see you get emotional,
Yeah.
now I've started seeing that as a sign of strength,
Of course.
because that is
So मतलब पता कितनी वो सेंटिमेंटल है, वो जरूरी है यार. सेंटिमेंटल नहीं होगे तो क्या करोगे?
yes, you need to be human.
Either you're a robot or a sociopath.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And you know, I don't want to be. I'm happy to be a empath and a very soppy, emotional empath. Very happy.
Shazia ji, that was beautifully put. And I have to say this, there is so much of depth in how you have held your ground while you're still evolving.
Yes, and I'll continue to.
And before we wrap, I just want to shift gears for a moment.
Yes.
And we have something called as sprint bites.
Okay.
So it's few quick bites. First thought,
Yeah.
gut response. That's all.
Gut response, not guttural, huh? Hopefully.
So I've drafted some quick questions for you.
Mhm.
So first response, right?
Mm.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Awesome. So the first one is one decision that changed your life.
There's so many.
The first one. You can't think about it.
One decision that truly changed my life was going back in the railway carriage when I was 13, when somebody misbehaved with me, kind of groped me. Go back, slap him hard and say, no, do not do this to me. I was young, I was scared, I was taught not to speak out, but somebody misbehaved with me. I was traveling from Delhi to Kanpur. It was a railway carriage, it was second class types, and somebody touched me weirdly, and I was barely 12 or 13. And the bravest act and that act that changed my life was to say, slap him hard, hit him and say, himmat nahi karna. Do not do this to me. Samajh mein aaya?
Wow.
That changed my life because I realized I could do it. And he was a scared man.
Yeah.
So I realized I'm not the only one here to be scared. I can scare others. I found my voice.
Yeah.
That changed my life. Really, I look back and I said, that was the day when I said, I'm not taking this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
No big moments there, but something.
No, I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very important. A woman leader who inspired you early on.
I was very fascinated by Hazrat Khadija. Now look at this. People talk about other wives, and you know, some incidents have happened in our country which should not have happened, and all of that. But do you know that Prophet's wife Khadija, who was actually Prophet's boss? So Hazrat Khadija was the first Muslim, because when Quran was revealed upon the Prophet, she was by his side. She was his first wife. Prophet was Hazrat Khadija's third husband. She was married twice before. Prophet was a third husband. Prophet was 12 years to 15 years younger than her. She was the boss. She was a merchant. She had many caravans. And Prophet, may peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullah, worked under her. This is the first woman. So this is the first woman, this great woman who inspires me. So I like to see where I can derive maximum power from. If I were to just seek faults with everything and be this feminist in today's world, I don't know where I'll seek inspiration from. And I have always asked this question, that girls are not allowed to work, girls are not allowed to study. What about Hazrat Khadija? The first person who became a Muslim, Musalman, believer, was Hazrat Khadija. And let me tell you, she was married twice before. She had children before. She was 12 to 15 years older than the Prophet. And in her lifetime, Prophet never remarried. So I just want people to know, particularly my Muslim brothers and sisters, to know that every time you use Islam in a certain way to put down girls and to discriminate and disallow them the equity, what they deserve, go back to the books, go to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and learn from him that how his first wife was married twice and had children and was years older. This is a real sunnat. Everybody wants young wives, learn something from the Prophet.
Yeah, I doubt that anyone actually speaks about it.
Yeah, well, it doesn't suit them.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't suit them because it doesn't suit.
So, ma'am, the next question I have is, one lesson that you learned after failing.
One lesson that I learned after failing is analyzing where it went wrong and again taking away the humiliation of it away and assessing as to what I could have done better so that it doesn't repeat itself. I have failed many times miserably. It has never stuck with me. I have always moved on. Moving on. This moment, next moment, next moment. Every moment creates you. Every moment creates a new you. Every failure leads to something else. And every failure leads to success. Period. So, it's reassessment, recalibration, and moving on. Because crying and feeling bad is very boring.
The next one I have, and this is the last one, a recent youth interaction that gave you hope.
What gave me hope, but along with hope, a lot of anguish and responsibility, was a very distinctive interaction. I went to this typically Muslim-dominated area. I'm used to that. I grew up in Chamanganj, Kanpur, so I'm used to those, and I was very important work. I do a lot of work in the community. There's so much that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Education and this, that, and the other. So many government schemes. Also consultations. Now we do triple talaq and literacy and all those issues. So I had gone there and I went to this family. Everybody was nice and many of them recognized me. But I went to this family, they were very tough with me. And though I had a little team of people with me, including my relatives, there were others. So I went and there was this typical patriarch, flowing beard and, sherwani types, even in that garmi. And sab log aas-paas the, and I just said, ye zaruri hai. He looked at me. First, they wouldn't let me in. Maine kaha, 1 minute just baat karni thi. So when I went in, he screamed at me. Sharam nahi aati hai, TV mein ho, behuda. And he knew my father. Behuda, Ishaq Ilmi saab ki beti ho, itne saalon se TV mein aa rahi ho, kya huliya. But he was very nasty. नहीं, बच्चों को खिलाना चाहिए, औरतों का काम नहीं है, ये जो आप कह रही हैं, बहुत से लोग हम जानते हैं, कर लेंगे. I felt very embarrassed, I was like red with anger, angry, and I was like, I felt insulted. मैं आ गई बाहर. I think others, the younger men around him, maybe his relatives, sons, might have felt bad. I left, I came out. So it was like a broader street, but like a big gully. So I came back and everybody, the youngsters who were with me and my bhabhi, they said, don't feel bad. I said, oh. And I was very angry. I said, how are they so crazy? They can't even talk to me because I'm a woman. Why should I wear a burqa? I don't want to wear a just typical conversation, you can imagine. I went out and, as I went further, maybe further down 300-400 meters, two little children, 4 and 6, boy and girl, boy in the little topi of his and the girl with a small little scarf, choti se, they came running to me and said, "Ek minute rukiye, wahan pe chaliye." They directed me to another alley. And so I said, okay, I went there. So the person who had screamed at me, this was his daughter-in-law. She was barely 30 or 31. She was such a young girl. She said, these are my children. Her, she was covered. He says, Shahzeb Baji, आप आया कीजिए. हमारे घर के पास वो नहीं है, बस स्टेशन नहीं है. तो बहुत दिक्कत होती है. आप नहीं आएंगे तो कौन मदद करेगा? I mean, you have to do it,
Yeah. That was insightful.
Yeah. But it's the reality.
Yeah.
Kunal, you are so lucky. Your wife is so lucky. I am so lucky. Must be so many houses like that. So many Muslims, Hindus in every community. Children wanting an opportunity. Mothers wanting to do more for their daughters and sons. Not having a voice. Husbands will not help them. Father-in-law won't help them. Their own parents might not help them. Society won't help them. So this is hope, that when a young girl says, I want a bus station close to my house so my little children can go and study because I could not. That is hope.
Yes.
That is New India.
Yeah.
We have to work towards that.
Yeah, we have to. And
They don't have a choice.
we don't. And as I said, Shazia, this is so insightful.
Yeah.
And believe me,
I don't know whether it's insightful, but all these things that you go through, when you open yourself to experiences, you realize there is so much more that you need to do instead of obsessing with yourself.
Yes. And I'm sure that the audience who are listening today, they're going to walk with a lot to think about. It's not an episode where we just say, we have given you these steps. This is something where they have to think when they watch this episode. And I want to say this, that it's an absolute honor to hear your journey, your conviction, and the clarity with which you break your thoughts. And I want to again say thanks for coming on Shivadiyant, for joining us for this insightful conversation.
Thank you so much, Kunal. You have, made it easy for me to open up and talk about all the things that impact me, affect me, make me sad, make me hopeful, and also fill me with anguish. So thank you for creating this space. And it's all right. I mean, I get emotional, but these things, if you were there, you would be emotional too. And we all show emotions in different ways. Tears come to me easily. Tears might not come to you easily.
Yeah.
But we all feel the same.
Yeah.
So, we need to be kind to ourselves and kind to others. That is important. That is the first qualifying factor to be a decent human being, to deserve your place on earth.
And I want to say this to everyone listening. If this conversation sparked something in you, please pass it on. And remember, keep learning, keep questioning, and as always, lead with purpose. Until next time, this is Kunal Gupta signing off.